Morning you guys, it's Karen, and I thought I would come and do a migraine update, or a migraine and HRT update, because I have tried that again. Last time I spoke to you was October last year, so 5 months ago. I can't believe it, but I was on HRT at the time. It wasn't working for me, and the next plan of action was for me to try the triple injection of HRT, so the same product but try it in a different dosing way. So basically do the 3 injections, which I think was December. It was the beginning of December. So at the beginning of December, I got the 3 injections, did them one after the other. And so that should have covered me for December, January and February. Unfortunately, it didn't change anything at all. There was no improvement at all. There was a 1.5 to 2 week period in February where I did feel like there was an improvement in my migraines, but I think it's unlikely it was from HRT, because firstly it didn't last, secondly it was nearly out of my system, and I had been on it for 6 months, including the other 3 months that I had done the injection monthly. I just didn't think it was that, and it was too short-lived. I wish I knew what had gone on then, but what that made me think was that it is hormones, which is what my neurologist has said he thinks it is, because it came on. I mean, I've had migraines for years, but because they got worse and daily and different symptoms, I stopped having the light sensitivity as much, and I have more sound sensitivity that I didn't used to have, and that I was getting them daily from the age of 45. It would seem clear to him that it's kind of perimenopause and it's hormones that are affecting it. Despite that, he never mentioned HRT as an option, but to me it seemed like a no-brainer, because if the problem is my unbalanced hormones, then taking some form of, or my lack of hormones, if you like, because of my age, then taking some form of hormone replacement should make things better. Briefly, my history with HRT is I tried to take it a couple of years ago, because I also have, hot flashes and trouble sleeping and all of that nonsense. And it made my migraines worse. And I was also sensitive to the progesterone that they gave me, the progesterone version that they gave me. I then went back to the GP last year, and I know I've told you guys this because there was a lot of comments on that video, but I went back, and I think I'd said HRT no more. I'd gone back to see this GP, and she'd said to me, "Oh, you can never be on HRT again," because I'd gone to ask her if I could try a different type of progesterone and a different type of estrogen to see if that would help with my hormones and headaches and not make the headaches worse, etc., migraine. And she was just like, no, because the last lot made your headaches worse, you could never go on again. She was very adamant that that was it for me. And of course, she's the GP, so I took what she was saying as fact, and that nobody else would prescribe anything to me. But I did ask if I could be referred to the hormone specialist, to the menopause specialist, sorry. But there's I think it's at least a year's wait, possibly 2. So I went to see this other doctor, not about this actually, about, I don't know whether it was about the heart issue, because I have a lot of appointments to do with heart issues and blood pressure and cholesterol and the irregular heartbeat and the abnormal ECG and all of that. But anyway, she was great, and she said to me that she didn't agree with the fact that I couldn't be put on HRT. And she said what she would do, rather than waiting for an appointment for the menopause specialist, was she would write to them and ask them if they could just confirm that her thinking was right, that I could go on another type of estrogen and progesterone. And so she did that, and she phoned me and she told me it's absolutely fine, you can go on it, but not until March this year, because my neurologist had asked me, because I told him that I might be trying HRT, he said, please don't try anything while you're doing the 3 months of the triple injection, because we won't know then what's working, which makes sense. So I ended up getting, it's called Utrogest tablets and estroderm patches. So the estroderm is the estrogen, and the Utrogest is the progesterone tablets. I might actually separately do a video talking about those and what I experienced in more details. But I was delighted, and I was also kind of annoyed, because it's like, this is what I asked for. That doctor that told me I could never go on HRT again, I had asked her for Utrogest, and that's what the menopause specialist wrote back to the other GP, saying yes, she can take Utrogest and this estroderm. So I was delighted. So I thought, well, this is great, because I've got this 3-month period now. March, April and May is my what's called a washout period, so I can't take anything for the migraine in terms of an injection. There are some other pretty horrendous drugs that the doctor had mentioned I could take. They're all ones that make you gain weight, which, I mean, I'm already on loads of drugs that make me gain weight. So I wasn't keen. So I thought, well, for this 3 months, for the kind of March, April and May, I will try HRT. Then when I go back in to see him, I was going to be put onto Emgality, which is another type of MAB, as they call it, for migraine. Now, the time when I could start, although it was March, I was to start HRT, it wasn't exactly March, it was the middle of February. Just March was said for easier, it was easier to remember, but it was the middle of February. So I started the HRT in the middle of February. It is now the 17th of March as I'm recording this. It may take me a while to get it edited because of my head, but it's a month I've been on it, and I've now off it. I stopped it 2 days ago. And that's because at first it seemed to be okay. That first week I took it, my head was a lot better. The second week it went back to being as it is normally, as in not great every day. And then last week it was just horrendous. It just seemed to make it worse. And then this week it's also been horrendous. So I'm hoping now that I've stopped it that it will sort of balance out again, maybe, because I've got to a point where things were kind of moderate every day. I'm doing a lot of things for my headache that are, I suppose you could say, complementary. So I'm taking supplements and I'm doing head movements that are to do with your vagus nerve, and I'm reading the book on the Way Out book, and several others that are very similar. So the HRT is a no-no for me. I was bleeding for almost 22 days heavily, which was not very good at all. But that's kind of the pattern for me over the last year anyway. You know, I'll go like 5 or 6 months without a period, and then suddenly one will appear and it will never go away until I take drugs. So I had to take drugs again this time. I had to take tranexamic acid to stop it. That's the same pattern that my birth mother was telling me. I asked her what her menopause was like, and she said it was exactly that. She was constantly heavy bleeding. She ended up having a hysterectomy. So here I am, no HRT, and I have got until, well, I've actually now got until July to wait until I get Emgality, because the 3-month washout is March, April and May. So I could get Emgality from June. I originally had an appointment with a neurologist in March. He then changed it to May, and I've now just got a letter yesterday saying it's been changed to July. It is the beginning of July, so I don't know whether I might try and phone his secretary and ask her if she can ask him to just order me Emgality, and actually then I don't need to see him until June, July, August. And then I could have 3 months of trying Emgality, see how I get on, and then see him and talk about the next stage. The next stage will be trying one of the other horrible drugs. I think the one I might try is an SSRI, which is an antidepressant actually. But the reason I might try that is because I think things that work on the serotonin seem to be the thing that works for me. For example, tramadol. So yeah, that's where I'm at. It's up and down. Like I said, this last 2 weeks has been awful. This last week in particular, it's been severe every day. So that's been really bad. And it's been a week where even when I take the tramadol isn't doing anything. So I'm still having a really bad day. The week before that was severe, other than the days I was taking tramadol. That did help, but I can only take it a couple of times a week. And the week before that was kind of moderate. The week before that was good. And I had thought that maybe the hormone replacement therapy was helping. It may well have done, but I think I can see now why my neurologist didn't recommend it, because the problem isn't necessarily too little estrogen or too little progesterone or too much estrogen, too much or too little of either is not necessarily the problem. The problem is caused by the roller coaster of hormones. It's by the up and down of hormones. And so until I'm at the point where I am postmenopausal, i.e. a year without a period, which is basically I now need to wait a year, I'm not going to be at the point where my hormones are kind of stable. And even taking hormone replacement therapy, although that is stable, it's still adding to the ones I've already got. You know, they're already up and down. And so mine are going to stay up and down. And so it may be that in that first week I took the hormone replacement therapy, my estrogen was low, the hormone replacement therapy boosted it, and that helped my head. But then maybe my own estrogen levels went a bit higher. That plus the HRT didn't do me any good. You know, it's such a complicated subject, the hormone therapy. So I can kind of see why he may not have suggested it initially. So I'm currently at a place where I don't have anything other than I do at least have my tramadol pain relief, and I'm really I would be very, very depressed if I didn't have that. You know, at least I know that 3 times a week, I usually, because it usually does work for me, 3 times a week I will get some respite, you know. But I feel like now, because it's the hormones, I feel like there is some hope for me, because I've got the possibility of taking Emgality in June or July. Like I said, I might try and phone up. I'm going to see how my headaches are in March and April, and then maybe phone the neurologist in May and say, listen, I've not got an appointment till July, but could you ask him to order Emgality for me, because that's the agreed next move. So I've got the hope of Emgality. I've got the hope that when my hormones all drop to 0 and they're not all over the place, which clearly they are with this constant heavy bleeding on and off, you know, that I could try HRT again. I'm not opposed to that. I'm only stopping it now because it's making my headaches worse. So I've got that as an option, and I've got this SSRI as a possible option as well. So there's a few things there, you know. And like I said, all of these kind of complementary things that I'm working on as well. The funny thing was, one of the reasons I was excited to take the HRT is because I've really been struggling to sleep, really, really terribly struggling to sleep. Like every day, Kev will be like, how did you sleep? And I'm like, no, I was awake from like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I just randomly wake up in the night and not be able to get back to sleep again. So I was really looking forward to taking the HRT. It actually got worse. that week where my head was okay, I barely slept. I felt like it made it completely worse. And I didn't get a single good night's sleep while on it. The day I stopped it, so 3 days ago, not 2 days ago, 3 days ago I stopped it, I've had 3 all the way through sleeps, which is really unusual for me. I say all the way through, I'm waking up, but I'm getting back to sleep again pretty quickly, you know. So, hormones, who would be a woman? I am coming back as a man for sure. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Just trying to do my best with it. We're going on holiday in April. I keep saying holiday and it's only like 3 days away, but still it's a holiday. And then we're going away for 4 days in June. So around about Kev's birthday and around about my birthday. And I'm really looking forward to it. But what I need to do to get enough tramadol is I need to sort of save them up, if you like. So I need to miss a day 1 week and put that aside for my holiday so that I've got enough that I can take them for the full time that I'm there, and the day before to pack all my stuff up, and you know, the day we come back, because we're off work and we want to go on an adventure with Watson, that kind of thing. But still, at least I've got a solution. You know, I sound like a right drug addict saying that, you know. Yeah, that's everything for today anyway. I hope you guys are all doing well. Let me know how you're getting on with your migraine situation, because I know a lot of you have migraine. Let me know how you get on with your chronic pain or chronic illness. Chronic illness is something that is very different from chronic pain, you know, because I feel like what I have is a chronic illness rather than chronic pain. I do also have chronic pain, but the pain itself is more manageable for me. It's more the illness, it's more the dizziness, it's more the lethargy, the brain fog, if you like to call it that. It's more all of that's more troublesome than the pain. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.